Heidi ho guys, Harry here, also known as Gualo Ren. I hope you've all been well, and if not, then I hope to make your day. So what you just saw is what you're going to be doing right after this video. On grounded with no combat accessibility options, no button prompts, no indicators or anything at all except you and your raw and natural dodging power that's eager to take on grounded's, many love bites. So, recently I've received many requests from players looking to improve their dodge game. For those who are new, the first Last of Us offered a counter attack against enemies, but The Last of Us 2 brings a new game changing mechanic, the dodge. So this is hands down my favourite component of the gameplay because it gives that optional sense of control, like you can avoid damage instead of just copying it. Like, I'm sure many of you agree that there's no better feeling than pulling off that last minute bob and weave to then snap back with a stab of your own, than to pull it off multiple times and remain intact. Euphoric. The dodge button becomes your best friend throughout Grounded, so you're gonna want to find out how to use it. Everything in this video applies for Grounded, which means dodging the fastest attacks. The lower the setting, the more time you have to react to hits. Alright guys, so let's jump into it. Here are top 8 tips on how to become a dodge
fucking master!
Alright, so hitting it off, number 1, listen for audio cues. So, there are only a few ways to work out when to dodge. You either see the enemy about to backhand you and rely on your reflexes to dodge, or you can listen out for audio cues. So whenever an enemy raises their arm or stands back to lunge at you, that is your split-second visual cue to dodge. But not everyone has fast reflexes or is familiar enough with enemy attacks to rely on this, so instead, listen for their screech of anger. This applies to nearly all enemies except clickers, and that's because clickers are always screeching, regardless if they're about to grab you or not. Now, as you just saw, clickers can be dodged too, but you gotta do it at that pinpoint moment, so honestly, your best survival chance is to just keep your distance, but dodge if you must, because there is no room for error. Another cheeky enemy is the Shambler. Unlike the clicker, they do have an audio cue when they either go to grab you or when they're about to explode, but both these attacks should not be dodged as they release an acid cloud. Same as the clicker, don't get close with these guys, keep your distance. The only time you should get close is when a Shambler is stunned and you can get a melee hidden. So all in all, familiarize yourself with the audio cues of enemies and then incorporate that with the visual cues. The visual cues can be tricky at times because some enemies, even after screeching, they don't immediately hit you as a way to throw you off and be unpredictable. And there also will be moments where you'll have to look out for what I personally call an audio gangbang, meaning multiple audio cues go off at once, so then visual cues become useful to quickly work out who's going for the attack and who isn't. Oh yeah, and the Rat King. Simple, and I say this wholeheartedly, just run for your life and be a slippery snake. Attack that thing from a distance. And finally, I know many of you are wondering about the dogs, just keep watching. So to sum it up guys, master audio cues, then combine them with the visual cues, all it takes is some practice. Number 2, did a full 180. I don't even know why I did that, but I couldn't help myself. Anyway, alright, so let's be real, nearly every Last of Us player knows this now. It's a classic move. If you're one of the few who don't, press down on the left thumbstick and X at the same time and you'll do a full 180. So this move is incredibly useful, especially when you've just finished off an enemy and hear another quickly approaching. Whip out this bad boy and you'll be facing them head on in no time. A simple yet very effective move when dodging multiple enemies at once, or even if you just want to do a runner. Number 3. Stay away from walls or objects. So Ellie and Abby both have pretty full-on animations when they've thrown an enemy up against a wall, or even an office desk, you know. Ellie stabs them like 3 times in different places, or Abby just crushes the skull in. Super effective ways to kill someone, but not very effective in keeping you safe. Now, we all know when these animations are happening. The game does this little stick thing, as if the player is stuck wailing on this enemy on the wall, and before you go, just stop hitting square. You'll notice that Abby and Ellie take even longer to step back, even if you stop pressing square. So my advice is, keep an open area when possible. Avoid hitting enemies into walls or any surrounding objects like crates, pillars, office desks, you know, anything where these long animations can play out. It's not impossible to dodge when these kills are happening, but it's unlikely you'll pull it off as the camera fails to focus on the player's surroundings while the kill is happening. This is recommended for when multiple enemies are present, but if it's just the one, then go bloody nuts. Once you find your dodging rhythm, you can then take the risk of using walls and surrounding objects, but even then, I still would probably advise against it. Number 4. Change control scheme. So this isn't something everyone has to do, but I did find it useful on occasions. If you go in the settings and change the dodge button from L1, which is the default button, to R1, you bring the dodge button and melee button closer together. You know, you could dodge with one hand if you really wanted to. Personally, I still do use the default layout, but there were occasions where this control scheme was more comfortable for me, so it may be for one of you too. I just don't have the coordination in my one hand to do both, so I have to use it in the other hand as well. So that sounds like I'm talking about something else. Number 5. Use the thumbstick. Look, so I actually don't remember if the game tells you this itself, so I thought I'd mention it just in case. Use the left thumbstick and the dodge button at the same time, in whichever direction you want to dodge that way. Whether it be left, right, up, down, southeast, northeast, you name it. Pick a direction when dodging and it will greatly help the flow of your dodges and allow you to line up counterattacks. It can also help you move enemies away from walls and surrounding objects, so keep that in mind. Number 6. The dive dodge. So for those who watched 5 more tips to survive grounded mode, you know this one, the elegant dive dodge. So this is a great move for escaping a large group of enemies attacking you at once. It can get you a quick breather amongst a bad situation. So to do this, press dodge, pick a direction with the left thumbstick and hold circle, all at the same time. Ellie will leap in whatever way you choose, and if you're real quick, she'll do this recovery move where she rolls and then gets back up in a flash. There were many times I found this useful, particularly with dogs and bloaters. When the bloater would do a flurry of like 6 hits that got increasingly faster, I'd use this bad boy to get a chance to breathe, and so would he. Now everyone's worst enemy, the dogs. Dogs are one of the much trickier enemies because they are incredibly quick, they leap, and they are, for God knows why, very accurate and precise with their attacks. They do have an audio cue, so not all hope is lost, but I found personally dodging was best done with the dive dodge. This one you'll have to practice because it takes a bit longer to get the timing right because they're cheeky bastards. You essentially have to dodge the moment their little paws leave the ground. Number 7. Work out the patterns. So this one isn't a must, but it can greatly increase your chances of perfectly dodging. So the majority of enemies have a fight pattern, meaning the amount of times they hit before backing off. But because grounded is grounded, they throw in little things here and there to try and throw the player off. Like sometimes they'll screech and go for a hit, but they reduce the speed of the hit, forcing the player to really focus on when to dodge. And there will be many times where you think you've got the pattern down, but they might throw an additional hit at you just to keep you on your toes. Like the bloater fight I did, there were times where he swung a good 7 or 8 times in a row and it made me shit myself. So it comes down to practicing again, but even if you believe you have their pattern worked out, just stay vigilant for that extra sneaky hit. And finally, number 8, stop mashing, break the immersion. So this tip's pretty straightforward. This game is insanely good at immersing the players through its environments, music, characters, you know, basically everything, including the action. It could just be me, but during the early days of playing, whenever I was wailing on an enemy, I just mashed the absolute crap out of the square button, because I was so immersed. But it didn't come without consequence, because I failed to realize I was about to be smacked across the head from behind or on the side. So basically just saying, don't force yourself to finish the kill if you're in danger, even if you know you're close, because that's when you cop the most damage. But let me know down below guys, did anyone else find themselves doing this, or am I just weird? Alright, beautiful guys. So that's everything on how to dodge. So I think it's high time now we take it down to the big boys, also known as an entire pack of really pissed off runners.
Oh, Jesus! Oh God. Oh God. Oh God! Oh my God, please! What the fuck?
Fantastic guys, so that wraps up all the ways I know on how to master dodging. These aren't factual or the only way, it's just how I personally learned to use it. Aside from the humor of the video, I don't believe I'm the best dodger out there. I think that title goes to this bad boy. But thank you all for helping me pass 200 subscribers. I'm feeling real confident we can get to 300 by the next big video, so please, if you're enjoying these videos, hit that big boy button. I haven't forgotten subscriber-based tips video either. That's coming late October / early November, so keep those tips coming. I've loved the engagement so far from everyone. I'm getting flooded with them, so it's gonna be a good video. Another thing too guys, I did recently change my PSN to suit my channel better, so if you're looking to have a couple of games of Last of Us 2 multiplayer when it releases, hit me up here. And finally, a stream time. So after missing my promised 1 o'clock stream last week due to work, I've decided that Sundays at 11 AM AEST is the best time, so that way my subscribers can make it. So that's Australian time, so chuck that in Google to see what time that'll be for you. And of course, a big thanks and shout out to Jay, David, Hugo and Lester for being active participants in last week's stream. It was quite a chaotic one guys, hey. And as always, feedback is appreciated, so please let me know what you think of the videos because I love to read them. So thank you everyone for watching and have a good one.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Hello, Mr. Tumnus. Oh, that. Oh, Jesus! Fuck!